Hi guys, welcome to my session on AWS. And in today's session, we'll be looking at Elastic Block Store, which is normally called as EBS. Why EBS? What is EBS consist of? So which category it comes in? All those things. If you ask me, it comes under storage, and EBS is one of the topmost thing as far as storage is concerned. AWS has a lot of other services also where in your storage category where your S3, Glacier, everything comes under storage. But EBS comes under top category because performance wise it will be giving you higher performance, and capacity wise it is very small when compared to S3 and Glacier, whereas cost wise it is expensive as well. And it is very much suitable for you in case of having a root volume, in case of having a database, because you need higher performance in case of root volumes, in case of databases, right? It can be NoSQL database or RDBMS, whatever it is. So whenever you go for performance, you have to go for EBS. That's why even whenever you launch an EC2, you will be having an EBS as part of it. So you might have not noticed it, but now we'll be looking at all those aspects. We'll be creating a new volume. We'll be attaching the volume to the existing running instance, and at the same time, we'll be removing the EBS volume and attaching it to a new instance. Then we'll be transferring the volume to a new availability zone. All those things will be part of this video. We'll be starting from scratch. It will be simple for you to understand, so it's not a big deal. Let's get started. I'm just logging into my account. It's getting in. Right. So EBS is not part of any of the categories here because EBS comes under EC2. So you have to go to EC2. When you get into EC2, this volumes, whatever you see in this dashboard is representing the EBS. When you have an EBS volume, it will be showing those counts here. Anyway, on the left side, you will see Elastic Block Store, which is the section for EBS. Click on volumes, and here is where you will see all your EBS volumes. Right now, we don't have any of the EBS volumes created. So let me go back to EC2 dashboard. I will create a instance, or I will launch an EC2 instance, which we have done lot many times. Click on launch instance. For people who have not seen that demo, please visit my playlist. It will be there, or this will be like a recap. Click on your AMI. I'm selecting Linux AMI. Select your instance type, configure instance details. Whichever availability zone you want, you can select it. Click on add storage. Right. So this is the case. Whatever volume you are seeing here, it's all EBS volume, and the different types in the EBS volume: general purpose, provisioned IOPS, and magnetic. And to just give a brief about all these types, general purpose, provisioned IOPS, and magnetic will differ on the IOPS. In general purpose, you will get 3 IOPS for every GB you are selecting, whereas minimum you will be getting 100 IOPS. That's the case here. Suppose if I go for 100 GB, you will get 300 here. Did you notice that? So 3 IOPS for every GB was guaranteed you in general purpose. Whereas when you go for provisioned IOPS, you will get something like your configurable thing of IOPS here. What you can do is like for each and every GB you get 3 IOPS in general purpose, whereas in provisioned IOPS you can get a maximum of 50 IOPS for every GB. Suppose if you are opting for 8 GB of storage, maximum you can go for 400 IOPS, because for 8 into 50 is 400. It's not that you should always go for maximum 50. You can go for something like 350 as well. The rule is like you can't exceed 50 IOPS for every GB. That is for provisioned IOPS. So in case of a higher performance system like databases and stuff, you will be going for provisioned IOPS. Whereas magnetic, you don't have anything IOPS specified there. It is something like they give you approximately 100 IOPS. That's what the difference, major difference. And it is something like you when you are dealing in free tier, you can always go with general purpose, plain and simple, where 8 GB, which is based on your AMI whatever you have selected, and you will get 100 IOPS here. When you add your volumes, you see the EBS volumes here. So that's what I said. Even whenever you launch an EC2 instance, whatever volumes attached with your instance is nothing but your EBS volumes. It is not any other volume type or any other storage services attached. It's just EBS. But when you go to volume type, you will see two more volume types here, which is cold HDD and throughput optimized HDD. These two are used for kind of huge data loads. Something like when you select these things, minimum you have to go for 500 GB of storage, cold HDD and throughput optimized HDD. They will give you higher performance. At the same time, the storage is also higher. You have to go for minimum 500 GB. Anyway, we are not dealing with that. We can go with general purpose. I'm just adding a tag. I'm just naming it as EBS demo, configure security group. In that, I'm selecting my default already created security group, review and launch my instance. I'm selecting my key pair. That's it. My instance has been launched. It's coming up. It has been launched in availability zone B. You can see the volumes attached. You can go down. See here. It has root device and then it has block device. So it has only one device attached as of now. And when I go to the dashboard, you will see volumes as one. Let me open the volume section in another tab. Go to EC2, click on volumes. You will see the 8 GB volume created for your EC2 instance. This is how when you normally launch. So it's not just plain EC2, you will be launching an EBS volume as well. But as part of this demo, we are going to create a new volume and attach it to our instance. That's what our objective is. So how to do that? So it's very simple. Click on create volume. Whichever type you want, you can select. And I'm going with general purpose and I'm going for a lesser volume, 2 GB. Just give me a second. Let me check the running instance. Right. So I'm selecting the availability zone. By default, it is A. I'm going with it. So we'll be dealing with snapshots later. So not a big deal. Click on add tag. I'm just giving the name as 2 GB volume and create volume. That's it. Refresh it. You will see the new 2 GB volume. See the status of this 2 GB volume. It is in available state because it is idle. It has not been attached with any of the EC2 instances. That's why it is showing it as available. And how to attach it to a running instance? It's very simple. Click on your volume, go to actions, see attach volume, click on that. When you click on that, it will show you to link it to the instances. Just click here. It will show you all the running instances. And to my surprise, it is not showing any of the instances. If you look at the reason why, see it is saying like no matching running instances or stopped instances were found in availability zone US East 1A. Let's check it. What's the problem here? I'm canceling it. See, whatever volume I have created now is an availability zone A, whereas our instance is running in availability zone B. So you cannot attach an EBS volume to an instance which is not running in your same availability zone. So both your instance in your volume should be in the same availability zone. That is a rule for EBS. You cannot attach an EBS from a different availability zone to a EC2 instance running in a different availability zone. So we have to delete this volume. It's also very simple. Go to actions, delete volume. Just delete it. Now let me create a new volume. This time I will create it in the right availability zone, 2 GB. It should be in B. Add tag, give the name as 2 GB volume. Just create it. Right. It has been created. You can refresh it. It is an available state. This time you click on your EBS volume, go to actions, attach volume. Now when you select here, it will show you the running instance. So ours is running. Our instance name is EBS demo. Click on that. It will be attached in this device path. Just attach it. It's in news because we have attached it to the instance. Go here. This is the instance. If you go down, it is showing only one block device. When you refresh it, you will see the second one. So as simple as that. We didn't do much activities here. Very simple. We just created a volume. We created it in a different availability zone. So we were not able to attach it. Then we deleted it and created a new volume. And this time we created in the same availability zone as the EC2 instance, and we were able to attach it. Once we attach it, it was displayed in your instance description. Now let's get into this EC2 instance. So as you know, we'll be using the public IP. Copy the public IP, go to putty, give a public IP, select your key pair, and let me change the appearance so that it is visible to you people. Okay, accept it. EC2 user. Cool. We are into the EC2 instance now. Now how to check the volumes? That is the next case. The command to check the drives attached is df-h. So it will list you all the volumes attached. To our surprise, we don't see the 2 GB volume which we created. It's because in Linux systems, always you need to mount your volumes. So that is a normal procedure. Whether you attach your pen drive or any other devices, you have to attach it, or sorry, you have to mount it. Only then it will be visible to you. So mounting is a process which has two steps. I'll just list it down. Let me open a notepad. When you want to mount it, first create a directory or make a directory and mount your volume to the directory. These are the two steps. So these are very simple. We'll be just doing it. First is create a directory, sudo make dir, make directory. I can just give it as demo. So the first step is done. Second thing is mount your directory to the volume. That is the second step. To mount it, it's also very simple. Sudo mount slash dev slash stf. If you're wondering what is this, just go to your instance slash dev slash stf. It is our internal path of our volume. I'm just mounting this volume to slash demo. Fine. So when I did it, it is giving us an error saying that wrong file system type, bad option, bad super block. So it is something related to your file system of that particular volume, whichever we have created. So just remember, it is a raw volume, which means something what we do with our Windows installation. Whenever we install our Windows, first thing what we do is we do a partition, because we'll be having a hard disk of 1 TB or something. We'll be doing a partition C drive, D drive, E drive. Then we format that particular partition. Formatting in the sense we'll be creating that into a file system. So that is what exactly we need to do. Since this is a raw volume, we need to format it and convert that into your file system. Only then we can mount it or make use of it. That's what happens. So this is a one-step process. This is not done every time. Since it's a new raw volume, we have to do that formatting. So we have commands to do that as well. So let me show you those commands. Windows have file systems like FAT, NTFS, NFS, all those file systems, whereas Linux has file systems like ext3, ext4. all those things. So I'm just opening EBS, mounting stuff. Yeah, this is the command. So very simple, sudo mkfs -t ext3 ext4. I'm just using ext4 and I'm just giving the path of our instance or the volume. Just run it. So our formatting is done. Now try this mount command. That's it. It's done. Now if you check df-h, you will see the volume, 2 GB volume. Very simple. So you now you got to know how to create a volume, attach it, and make use of it in your Linux instance. It is as simple as that. It even take as much time to do all these things. To just give you a recap, or the commands whatever I tried, I'm just going with the history. These are the commands I tried. So I just checked for the volume, it was not available. So I created a directory and tried to mount it. It threw up me an error because my volume was not formatted. So I created that into a file system. Then I tried mounting it, it worked. Then df-h is then the history command. So everything worked for us. This is very simple. That's as simple as that. Now next thing, I will just try to place a file into this new volume. So how to place it? First move to that particular directory. cd/demo is our directory. Move to that directory and then create a new file. Touch command will be useful. Okay, you have to go with sudo touch sample.txt ls-ltr. You will see that file. Now log in, or we will just edit some file contents. This is a sample file for EBS demo. Right, so I can check my contents as well. Yes, this is a sample file for EBS demo. So what we did, we created a volume attached to an EC2 instance. We moved to that particular volume. Then we created a file in that volume. So it's like a pen drive. In that particular pen drive, you have this file. Now what we are going to do is I'm going to launch a new instance in the same availability zone. I'm going to detach the volume from this instance and attach it there. It is something like removing the pen drive from our first system and attaching it to the second system. Let's check whether this file is being copied there, or means persistent there, something without any damage, or we don't lose the contents and all those things. It's like exactly like detaching from one instance and attaching it to a new instance. What we do in our normal hard disk or pen drive. That's what we are going to do. Let me launch a new instance. Launch a new instance. Configure instance details. You have to launch it in the same zone. Don't forget that, because otherwise you won't be able to attach it. Add tags. I'll just name it as second instance. Configure security group. Select an existing security group. So people who are comfortable and easy to launch, it will be a recap to you people. That's it. We have launched a new instance. It is also in availability zone B. Now the second instance will be having one volume attached to it. See that? And if I go to volume section, I will see the third volume. So these two are for the first instance. This is for the second instance. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to detach this volume from first instance and attach it to the second instance. So that is very simple. First I need to unmount it. So sudo umount /dev/stf. So why do I need to do this? This is something exactly like your pen drive in Windows. When you want to remove your pen drive, you do a safety remove hardware, right? Similarly, you have to unmount this particular volume. Okay, when I try this, the target is busy. It's because we are already into that particular volume and we are trying to do an unmount. So we have to move away from this. Now you can try to unmount. It's done. Once it is done, go back, select your volume, go to actions, detach this volume. Now it will be done in a very simple manner. Even if you don't unmount also, you can click on actions and you can do a force detach, but that should be avoided. The recommendation is you have to unmount and then detach the volume. It has been detached. It took just few seconds to detach. Now click on your instance, refresh it. You will not see the second volume. It's been gone. Now what we are going to do is go to the instance page, click on your second instance, sorry, click on your 2 GB volume, go to actions, attach this volume. This time we are going to attach it to the second instance. Click on that. It will get an internal path. Just attach it. Yeah, it's in use. Okay, cool. Let me click this. Still your instances. Yeah, it is already showing the second block attached. Now what we do, let me log in into this new instance. Click on new session, SSH, auth, select your key file, go to appearance, let me change the font size. Okay, open it. EC2 user. Fine, we are into the second instance. How to confirm it? Look at the private IP here. Go here. You will see the same private IP, 85.96. 85.96. Now the same commands, df-h. Yes. Again, you see only the 8 GB volume. What we need to do? We have to create a directory and mount it. So sudo make dir slash, I can give any name this time. I can give something like EBS. Now I will mount it. Sudo mount slash dev slash stf slash EBS. Oh, sorry, EBS. See here, this time it got mounted without any issues. We didn't format this time, but still it got mounted without any issues. The reason behind it is we don't want to format it every time. Once you have formatted, it's fine, and then we have placed our files as well. If you are formatting it again, remember you will lose all your files. So formatting shouldn't be done every time. It should be done only once, and once you place your files, it's done. You don't want to change it every time. Now let me log in into EBS, or just move to that directory ls. You will see your sample.txt, cat sample.txt. So as simple as that. Now I can log in into this. See, these are our file contents. New line added. Cat. So see how simple it is. In no time we created a volume attached to the first instance. You made use of it, then we detached it, attached to the second instance. We moved to that second instance and saw the file contents. We edited the file content. It's just like a pen drive or a hard disk, which we normally do in our day-to-day activities. So as simple as that. Now what I'm going to do is, like, I'm going to launch a new instance, and this time I'm that new instance will be launched in a different availability zone. When the new instance is running in a different availability zone, how to handle that? That's what we are going to see. There's a workaround. Obviously, we can't detach this volume and attach it directly to that new instance because it is in a different zone. So what is that workaround? That's what we are going to see now. So this time I'm going to terminate this first one because it will create us a lot of confusion. Too many instances. Terminate it. It's always a good practice. Whenever you are done with your stuff, always terminate it because everything will be accounted and you will have to pay for it. Let it get terminate. I'm launching a new instance. This time I will launch it in A, maybe a different availability zone. This time I will launch it in A availability zone. Add storage, add tags. I will give the name as third instance. Configure security group. Selecting the security group. Review and launch. Launch. Acknowledge it. Fine. We are done now. The first got terminated. We have two instances running. Second instance and third instance. Let me refresh it. It is still pending. Yeah, it's running state. Let me go to volume section. Refresh the volume. See, we have three volumes. One is for the third instance and two is for the second instance. This one is what we created and attached. Obviously, when I want to attach this volume to this new instance, whatever we launched now, we can't do with our normal procedure, detaching it from the second and just attaching it to the third because both are running in two different availability zones. So there is a workaround, and that workaround is done using snapshots. So how come snapshots will be useful in this case? I'll just give you a small theory on that. So we have our EBS volume in availability zone B. So this can't be detached and attached to an instance which is running in availability zone A. So what we do is like we create a snapshot from this particular EBS volume. We create a snapshot. Snapshots are copy of your volumes. So and snapshots are not zone specific, they are region specific. So you don't have a problem here. So from this EBS volume, you create a snapshot. And from this snapshot, we create another EBS volume because snapshots are said to be blueprints or copy of your volumes. Using this blueprint, I can create another volume. It is not that you can create only one volume. You can create as many volumes you want. It's like from a negative, you can develop as many photos you want. Similarly, from a snapshot, I can create another EBS volume. This time, I will create it in availability zone A. Got it? Once I create an EBS volume in availability zone A, it is very simple. I can just attach this EBS volume to the new instance, whatever we launched. In our case, it is the third instance. This is what we are going to do now. Let's do this. I'm just clicking on the 2 GB volume. Go to actions. Click on create snapshot. Can give a description 2 GB snapshot. Add a tag. Give the name 2 GB snapshot. Just for our reference. Just create a snapshot. Just close it. So where to see the snapshot? It's also under EBS. See here, you have snapshot section here. Click on that. Right, our snapshot is getting ready. As I said, snapshot is not zone specific. You will not see anything related to zones in your snapshot. You see only this when it is started, what is the progress, encryption, all those stuff, but you will not see anything related to zones here. It is region specific. And one more good thing is like your snapshots or something like you can from the snapshots whenever you create an EBS volume, you can increase the size of that EBS volume. That is one advantage. Anyway, we'll be doing that. I will increase the volume size. Let it get created. Yeah, it's completed now. From this snapshot, I can go to actions, create a volume. This time, minimum it should be 2 GB because your snapshot is of 2 GB. Now I can increase the volume size as 3 GB. And I'm going to create it in availability zone A. And I will just name it as 3 GB volume. Just create your volume. So our volume is done. Go to volumes. See here, our 3 GB volume is created. It is in availability zone A and it is in available status. Let me go to instances. Our third instance, just go down. It has only one volume attached as of now. Click on volumes, 3 GB volume, go to actions, attach that particular volume. Select here, you will see only one instance because the other instance is running in a different availability zone, which is in availability zone B. So I'm just selecting this instance, click on attach. Now it is in use. Go to instances. When you refresh it here, you will see the next volume. You see here, though the EBS is in different availability zone, we created a snapshot, and via snapshot we created another volume, which is whatever we have seen here. Via snapshot we created another volume, and this time we created in a different availability zone, and we modified the size as well. It is 3 GB now, whereas your previous EBS was 2 GB and your snapshot as well is 2 GB, but our volume is 3 GB now. We have to confirm that as well when we log in into that instance. So this is what we did. And one more point here is your snapshot can be taken from an EBS volume irrespective of whether it is attached to an instance or not. Even if it is in available state also, you can create a snapshot. That is one more advantage of snapshots. Okay, right. Let me get in. Let's log in into the third instance. Copy the public IP. I'm logging into a new instance. Give your public IP, SSH, auth, browse for your details, select your key pair, then I'm changing the appearance. Okay, EC2 user. Fine, we are into the instance. I'm just giving df-h, which you all know. Obviously, you will not see that new volume, which should be 3 GB now. Let me create a new directory. Make dir/demo sudo mount /dev/stf/demo. Fine, mounting is also done. Now again, we don't want to format it because it is already formatted. Though it is from a snapshot, only it has the formatting details as well. Only if you format your raw volume, you can place your files. So from the snapshot, all the files are copied into your new volume, so it should be formatted. So you don't need to format it. If you are formatting again, you will lose your files. Now df-h. Cool. So our volume is showing here, but the problem is it is showing as 2 GB. So let's come to that problem later. First, let's check whether our files are there in this particular volume. ls-ltr, you'll see your files. Cat. Fine. So it is having all the contents, whatever was there in our EBS volume. So in our previous instance. So same contents are here. But you don't have any linkage between these two contents. If I change something in this particular volume now, that will not be reflected here. So both are two different EC2 EBS volumes and they are not linked. The snapshot as well is having only the backup when it was taken. That's it. Any changes to the EBS volume done after the snapshot has been taken will not be there in the snapshot. Just have it clear in your mind. Fine. Now this is done. Then the next thing is like what happens to that 1 GB because we increased the size of the volume as 3 GB, right? What happened to that 1 GB? It's because though we created the volume for 3 GB, only 2 GB has been formatted. The rest 1 GB is not formatted. So we need to take care of that 1 GB. For that 1 GB, we can't format the entire volume. So there should be a way to just format that 1 GB alone. So we say it as resize your file system. There is a command in Linux to resize your file system. So that command is very simple. It is this. So which means we are asking to resize to file system this entire volume. Whatever file system it has for the 2 GB, we are doing the same thing with the rest 1 GB. Now it is done. df-h. You see here, you see the 3 GB volume as well. So it is very simple. So in no time, we created volume attached to an instance. First, we attached to an instance. We tried to mount it. It was not we were not able to do it because we need to format our particular volume. Then we formatted it, mounted it, moved to that particular volume, created a new file, and after creating that, we launched a new instance, detached this volume from the first instance, attached to the second one, then there we modified the content file contents. This time we didn't format the volume because it is already formatted. We modified the file contents, then we tried to attach that particular volume to the third instance which is running in a different availability zone. Obviously we can't do that, so we went for a workaround where we created a snapshot. From the snapshot we created a new volume. This time that volume was in the same availability zone as the third instance, so as we have written here. So it is this time when we created a volume, it was 1 GB extra when compared to the snapshot. And when we attach this EBS, it's the same procedure, mounting it, but this time you saw only the 2 GB volume. The third 3 GB was not showing, which is the additional GB was not showing. For that, we resized the file system. That is what we done as part of this demo, right? So we are done with our demo. So you know how to terminate all your instances. Select all your instance, go to actions, instance state, terminate. It will terminate all the instances and it will delete all the volumes which were part of that particular EC2 instance. And remember, the other two volumes, whatever we created, 2 GB and 3 GB, will be intact and we need to delete it manually. And we created a snapshot as well. You can go to snapshot, click on your snapshot, go to actions and delete it. Else, if you go to your dashboard, it will show you everything. 4 volumes, one snapshot. From here as well, you can go to volume section, refresh it. So it will give you the last 2 volumes. Yes. Select all your volumes, delete your volumes, select your snapshot, delete your snapshot. Cool. So if you go to the dashboard, everything will be 0. We are good to sign out. And in next video, we'll be looking at how to create a volume and attach it to Windows instance, because that is also important. We have seen everything for Linux today, and in the next video, we'll be looking at how to do that for Windows instance. Anyway, we are done with our demo today. So see you in the next video. Till then, bye. Take care.